Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation Homebrew news and much, much more. So today I have a completely jammed-packed episode of all kinds of things that's happening in the PlayStation Homebrew news community, especially covering PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Now, one thing before I get into the video, I need your help. I am trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Also, share the content. It would be so awesome to start seeing some of my videos appear on different news sites or Reddit or other places like that. The only way I can achieve that is by you. And then finally, always a thumbs up or a like would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's jump into the news now. Okay, to begin with here, the very first thing was that last night I made this tweet on how to exit IDU mode on a PlayStation 5. Now, if you don't know what IDU mode is, it's called the Individual Display Unit, and it's typically used for kiosk that's used maybe like in a Target or some sort of store such as that. It's a very restrictive mode where you can't really do anything, like you can't get into settings to maybe change like network configuration and so forth. But on the PlayStation 5, with the current jailbreak or partial jailbreak, you are able to change your console into IDU mode. And if you do so, you may be worried that you bricked your console. Well, obviously, there is an easy way right here to get back out of IDU mode. And so you can just follow these instructions right here in case you get there. Now, you may be wondering, are people really doing this? And my answer to that is absolutely they are. You know, right here. Hey guys, I made a mistake in the PS5 debug settings. By mistake, I did the option IDU mode. Help me get out. So anyway, I hope that these instructions right here help you in case you get locked into IDU mode. Okay, so next up, I wanted to cover this GitHub repository by Stooged. So Stooged in the past has created a couple of different GitHub repositories that uses things such as an ESP8266 or an ESP32 in order to provide a Wi-Fi HTTP server as well as a DNS server. That way you're not ever dependent upon any of these other sites. This could be these hosts that we currently have out there, or heck, even the DNS settings that we're currently using. Basically, you can store everything needed for the exploit on one of these little small chips. Like this is an ESP32 device. Now, there's a couple of different versions that he has here. So the very first one that he has, and again, this is for the PlayStation 5 for a completely offline scenario. This one is for the ESP8266 or the D1 Mini Pro. And again, these chips are right around $4 on AliExpress. And then he has another one over here for the ESP32, which is what I currently use right now for my PlayStation 4 and how I jailbreak them. If you look at any of my past videos, I'm basically using Stooged version of the PlayStation 4 web server. And if you want to look at everything that he has available, you can go back in here to Stooged and then go to Repositories. And you can see right here is the ESP8266 that we talked about, the ESP32, but he also has a PS5 server for the PicoW board. Now, some of these down in here is the ones that I was using. So like the ESP32 server for 9.00 that had USB emulation. And if you want to see these all in details, I'll provide a link to where I set up an ESP32 device for my PlayStation 4 completely from scratch. And next up, I wanted to cover the PlayStation 5 SDK that was leaked. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say very much about this because Sony has been taking down stuff like crazy, but here is just a screenshot of the SDK manager. So if you're wondering what this is the software development kit that developers use to build PlayStation 5 games. So you can understand why it may be very important for us in the homebrew scene to have access to one of these. Now, they have issued takedowns on everybody that has hosted these files. Here's an example of one which I did remove. the rest of the URL, but basically all of those are now being removed. So that's why I want to tread very lightly on this subject. You can obviously hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk about this a little bit more in detail. Next up, we have a couple of different PSVR2 manuals that have been leaked online, and they confirmed this 2023 release date. Now, let me just go ahead and let me just say this up front. The 2023 release date was well known before the date of October 14th, which is when this came out. But there is access to these manuals right here in PDF form. Obviously, I won't be linking to anything like that, but if you want to go and check this out, then you can obviously do so. There is a lot of great stuff that's inside of these manuals that tells us a little bit more about the thought process of the PlayStation VR2. Next up, regarding some PlayStation 4 news, is that there was a brand new pack of cheats that just came out a couple of days ago for 13 new games. So things like 7 Days to Die, Kingdom Hearts, Assassin's Creed, The Evil Within, and then a few more of these. Obviously, just like with every release here, you can simply come to the assets section here. You can download the package, and as long as you are running GoldHEN, one of the later versions of it, you'll be able to activate these cheats inside of a game. Again, I have a video if you want to learn how to activate cheats in PlayStation 4 using GoldHEN and this cheats package. And then there is a bunch of talk over here of the new God of War Ragnarok game. So this is just a couple of the game sizes here. So first off, it is going to be preloaded on consoles on November the 2nd, which is just right around the corner here. And then it launches on November the 9th. And we can scroll up here and we can see that for the PlayStation 4, this is going to be 106 gigabytes. And then the PlayStation 5 is running right around 84 gigabytes, and very similar sizes here for the Europe version. So anyway, just a kind of a quick update that this game is right around the corner. I know a lot of you are going to be looking forward to running this on your PlayStation 4 and hopefully on your PlayStation 5. Now, one thing I will say about the PlayStation 5 is that there is no way, shape, or form that this is going to be coming on a disc that requires a lower firmware than, I would say, probably 5.x. So if you buy this game for the PlayStation 5, just note that you're not going to be able to actually play it on a 3.x or 4.x PlayStation 5. And then we have a few homebrew titles that have come out by Lapy. So one of them is this Ghost of Tsushima minigames. And there is this great video right over here, which I will link to by Vanika Lab. I believe if that is pronounced correctly. If not, I'm sorry. But you can kind of check out and see what the game looks like here. I love that little Lapy Games, how it rearranged the text there. And you can select any of these minigames. So there's Deal, Bamboo, and then there is Shoot. So hold triangle. Your attack was too soon. Let's go to Bamboo. Okay, well done. You cut through 3 bamboo. Okay, so you press XXX really fast. Okay, so in that instance, they only cut through 2 of them. Let's look at the shoot one. Okay, shoot it with any button. Basically, you've got to get it through this bamboo right here. So anyway, just a very fun homebrew application, again by Lapy. Definitely check it out. There is instructions that will be in the description below for how you can download this for your PlayStation 4 that's jailbroken on 9.00. And then we have another homebrew application by Lapy, and this one is called XBeat Prototype 1.00. So he states in here, remember this is a prototype to see if you like the idea for the game. It'll only work if the community makes the songs. And so there is a link right here where you can download it. Now, one thing that I did note was that also there was a couple of tutorials that other people built. And if you wanted to kind of see this in action or how you set it up, you you could simply follow this tutorial right here. I'm going to skip ahead to the part to where the game's actually running, but we'll obviously include a link to this original tweet. Okay, so there's the title screen. So you can select the song here, Demo by Lapy. And it says use the joystick to cut the boxes, square to center the gamepad. So kind of like a Beats Saber is what I believe that this is right here. And so what's kind of nice about this is that the community can actually create more of these songs, so you would have multiple entries to it. So a great idea. This is, again, a very early prototype, but we'll see what comes out of it in the following months. Next up, there was this post by PlayStation Hacks. And by the way, if you have not subscribed yet or checked out PlayStation Hacks, you should absolutely do so. They provide a number of different tutorials as well as different blog posts, and they just reactivated their forums. But over here you can see it says, play PS2 games on PS4. And so here is an application that is made by Nazky. And basically, this is a GUI, or a graphical user interface, for those of you on PS4 jailbreak, that will allow you to easily convert any of your PS2 titles to PS4. It says the application has the PS4 Wiki PS2 to PS4 application that's automatically built into it. So this features the first beta, but there was just another beta that came out just a few moments ago over here on his GitHub URL, which now supports some of the things such as bin files as well as some other fixes. So definitely take a look at this if you're interested in getting PlayStation 2 games working on PlayStation 4. And as you can see right here, you select the ISO image, you grab the background image, a game icon, and then just where you want the output of the file, and you press the create package, and it does all of the magic work in the background. So anyway, a great little application right here that you should totally check out. And then a bit of news over here on the official PlayStation blog, and that is this DualSense Edge wireless controller for PlayStation 5 launches globally on January the 26th. So as you can see here, it comes with this nice little case. It looks like another USB-C cable here. Obviously the controller and a couple of different buttons and parts that you can change out right here. Now it says that the pre-orders begin next Tuesday, October the 25th. And this thing right here is going to be setting right at $199 USD dollars. But changeable back buttons is included in this, customizable button mapping. So there they're using it with Rocket League, adjustable trigger stops and dead zones. That could be very cool. There's Returnal, which is a game I've yet to buy yet. Tunable stick sensitivity and dead zones, and then adaptive trigger and haptic feedback. A very nice USB braided cable. Ooh, but it also comes right here with this lockable connector housing. So you can lock it so it will not get pulled out. Now, I don't know why you would necessarily want to do that, because I usually charge my controller when I go to bed or whatever, but I guess still cool. I don't know. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. Custom profile and settings, and a few other things in here. So let me know in the comments below, are you planning on buying this thing or not? And again, the pre-order starts on 10/25, and you can get it at direct.playstation.com. And then I bought a game just the other day, and it was Ghost Runner. And the sole purpose of me buying this game was that I knew that it was running a higher firmware than what I currently had on my PlayStation 5. And so I've never seen what happens when you insert a game that's on a higher firmware. Mainly what I was wondering was, does it auto update? And so, well, I bought the game, I brought it back home, and I plugged it in. And what happens is that you really get two options. You get an option once you put in the disk, to update or to not update. If you hit the don't update button, then this is what you see right here. It just says PlayStation 5 format disk and then update the system software to play the game. And so this basically solved that kind of mystery for me for what happens. And apparently at least a number of you thought that this was interesting too. And then finally here, we've got PlayStation 5 error codes. So this is every error that the PlayStation 5 can report. And a fun fact is that there is 7,773 error codes. And yes, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of this and I looked down here and there is that number, which is probably too small for you to see. But anyway, if you want to look through all of the error codes, you can obviously do so because I'll provide a link to this in the description below. Well, that's going to do it for this one, folks. Thank you so very much for watching. Again, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like, share, all of that other fun stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Michael, out.